something that's been in the sort of collective consciousness for a little while now. And by collective consciousness, I mean just things that are out or getting into the mainstream or pretty close to it. And it hits on a lot of psychological, neurological, and spiritual things, which to me are kind of different ways of describing the same experiences that we have. So what I intend to address in this video is the law of attraction, stay with me, and humans as electromagnetic consciousness. And by that I mean people tend to think of themselves and identify with their body, right? To me, to people in the spiritual circles, the body is just a car, essentially, right? We clean it, we maintain it, we fuel it, but it is not the driver. It is not who we are as people. I recently had a conversation with my friend Yo about his kind of perception and self-perception, especially when it came to time. And what came up in that conversation was that we tend to view time as this thing that happens to us or that happens around us. But to me, time is a lot closer to who we really are, right? We're kind of like time within the body. We're kind of time using our physical bodies to roam around in the world and explore, discover it. A lot of people have used the reference point of like we are consciousness itself. We are like the universe, source, God, whatever, exploring itself from within. And that's more or less what I wanted to address in this video. And more specifically, humans as electromagnets, as electromagnetic consciousness. So I made a little drawing here, a little person, a little positive sign and a negative sign like a magnet. And it's kind of, there's like the electromagnetic field, which people in spiritual circles would call like an aura, right? And we can get into color and what the woo-woo stuff is in another video in another time. But basically it's kind of like the vibe that we're putting out. If you want to view this strictly from the physical perspective, you can tell, and we kind of use this as shorthand, like you can tell someone's vibe, or you can tell the vibe that they're putting out based on their body language. And our body language is a means of communication from the inside out, right? So if my consciousness, my spirit is in a state of being that is angry, you know, my brows might furrow, I might look very aggressive and straightforward. If I'm happy, I might be a little lighter, might be smiling, right? Sad, droopy, things like that. But what this is doing, these states of being are doing, are attracting certain things to us, or repelling things from us. As an example, there was this guy that I ran into recently on my way to class, and his vibe, we could say, I didn't see any kind of aura or anything like that. It was just he was struggling with a rolled up plastic or rolled up mattress wrapped in plastic. And you could tell, I could tell, that he was having a rough go of it. He was very frustrated. And his beliefs, his persona, his way of carrying himself and that interaction told me and gave me a lot of information about this guy. He was, you know, I could see tattoos on his hands, on his face, and you could tell certain things about, you know, the way people dress themselves and carry themselves and design their body. I have a lot of tattoos, so I'm not judging him. I'm not judging anyone with tattoos or anything like that. But it does communicate certain things. More than that, and more to the point, he was very aggressively defensive. I came up very kindly, very lovingly, like, towards this person who was struggling, like, hey, do you need any help? And it was very apparent that he could not hear that. He was completely blind to that, based on his, prior experiences, prior beliefs with people, with maybe him being seen or not being seen, in moments of vulnerability, in times when he was struggling. Maybe he was used to being humiliated. Like, I remember one time, I was trying to, like, duck a swing, and it was like what felt like a long time passed. So I, like, picked my head up, and the swing hit me in the back of the head, and it was in front of a lot of people, and they started laughing. So I felt very humiliated, and that was kind of a formative moment for me, among many, to become a lot more of a loner, a lot more isolationist, and a lot more in favor of like, only helping, or only assuming that I can't really trust people to help me. So as I came to this guy, I felt like that we kind of attracted each other to form this experience, to, become aware. I kind of assumed that, like, after he got to where he was going and had a minute to calm down, he would either resist or, eventually think, like, that guy was just trying to help, right? And I basically told him to fuck off. And he was being very disrespectful. But it hits on my first point of limiting beliefs and karma. Karma is, like, it feels like, in today's mainstream way of thinking, it's a woo-woo way of saying, energy or things like that. But it's really just patterns in belief, thought, and action, right? If I'm holding certain beliefs, like people won't help me, or I have to do things on my own, that's going to affect my pattern of thinking, my way of thinking, and it's going to influence the way I carry myself and act in the world, with myself, with other people, which kind of goes into the neuroscience of it, is the reticular activating system, which is kind of like your brain's way of processing the world around it. There's only so much processing power that a single brain has, as powerful as they are. And so, of all the information that we're constantly taking in, it's really based on our upbringing, prioritizing attention and energy, the energy of attention, for very basic needs, for survival, for looking out for opportunities and things like that. The great anecdote is, like, I never knew how many mattress stores there were until I needed a mattress. And then I bought a mattress, and then, like, my brain stopped noticing them, right? It prioritizes attention. And same thing happened today in a text conversation with a group of friends. We were talking about rubber ducks for some reason. And then my friend, who is in New Orleans right now, just, like, started seeing a bunch of rubber ducks, because that's what we were talking about. So it kind of primed her subconscious mind to be on the lookout for that. But if we look back at the drawing here, we have positive and negative. And then if you look closely, that's a money sign, and then negative and positive, right? Positive and negative, if you think of a magnet, is going to attract negative and positive. But if we're holding limiting beliefs about money, that can create cognitive dissonance, which is when your brain is holding on to two conflicting beliefs at once, which can create a lot of stress and anxiety. So you can see there's money, love, and then XP is experiences. But basically, if, let's say I wanted to attract money into my life, opportunities in which I could make money, receive money that people owe me that I completely forgot about. There's a lot of, like, I think Tony Robbins has like stories about that or something. But basically, if I'm in a state of wanting to attract money, let's say I'm a painter and I want to sell my paintings, iamvictor.com/market. I want to attract people to buy my paintings, but I'm holding on to the limiting belief that people who are rich are inherently evil or something, or money is the root of all evil. Then I will be resisting the money that can enter my field, my consciousness, my reality, because of the underlying belief that's a lot closer to my core, a lot closer to my unconscious beliefs, that money is evil in some way, or that I will become evil if I then start receiving money. Like same thing with love, with friends, with they say our vibe attracts our tribe, right? So if I'm kind of in the company of ne'er-do-wells and stuff like that, I might not be someone like that, but I might have limiting beliefs about myself, my self-esteem, my self-image. To pull this kind of together, especially in regards to love, I would say that I'm a straight male, even if consciousness and energy is non-dualistic. Like I have masculine and feminine energies, but I'm in a male body. If I have the want of love, of finding someone to express my affection with, but I'm holding on to the fears that I had when I was like 11 or 12, and I went to like the public pool with my mom and no one else was there, and I was overweight, so I still have to this day some like body image issues, and she would like grab me. Her way of letting me know that I was overweight and she wanted me to lose weight was to dig her nails while we were in the pool into my love handles, and then kind of like lift me and kind of, instead of like grab me from under the armpits like you would a child, and like just kind of like do the bouncing around like I've seen parents do, she would grab me by my love handles, like the fat, and like lift me up and like still do like the wee kind of thing, like the happiness. So it created what's often called a trauma inception, and formed a lot of the beliefs that I have right now that I hold in cognitive dissonance. Like I'm attracted to women, but I feel unsafe around them because my primary caregiver was, I don't know, pretty messed up, like traumatized herself. I don't want to like hold any blame against her or, play the victim or anything like that. I was, we have been victimized, and it's important to process that, especially by forgiving people, right? She was raised through like her own traumas and didn't have time to properly process them, and she became schizophrenic, bipolar. She had depression. She's a lot better now, especially the more that we have talked and forgiven each other. But bringing it back to love and attracting partners, her depression made her very emotionally unavailable, so she wasn't very present. So I have had, and I've noticed the pattern of attracting women who are very emotionally unavailable in a variety of ways, right? Maybe they just got out of a relationship and they're just looking for, a rebound, or they're in a relationship, or they play for the other team. So because I'm holding on to these limiting beliefs, a little person in the drawing here, my positive and negative are attracting a positive and negative. So they're just kind of like, boop, bouncing off. Love, boop, bouncing off. Money is the root of all evil, boop, bounces off. No money for me. Experiences will attract, in this case, experiences that reaffirm the beliefs that I already have. Yeah. So money. And then the beaten path, the emotional level, and neuroplasticity. So a beaten path is attached, or I would say is the emotional level, and neuroplasticity, because the emotions that I have felt most consistently will be my beaten path neurologically. So if I'm used to attracting people who will hurt me, then I might develop fears and beliefs about people. And neuroplasticity just means the malleability, the reshapableness of our beliefs, of our beaten path, of our emotional level. So if I'm having certain beliefs about love or money or what kind of experiences I'm having, I can change those and attract new experiences based on my willingness to accept that I've had these beliefs and these experiences, and that I can have different experiences. I have to be able to accept where I'm at, where I have been, and that change is possible, which is so much easier said than done. Believe me, I kind of like speak to that enough. But neuroplasticity is a big thing in like self-development and psychological circles, and it's coming a lot more to the mainstream, especially in trauma research, because it's kind of the science behind you can change your experiences. You can change yourself. And it ties into the beaten path, because the more we walk a certain path, the more it becomes a path. And the more it becomes a path, the more we're kind of clearing the way for other people to be able to walk that path as well, right? By leading by example. If I can lead by example for my immediate family, that I'm no longer a person who is coming to the world based on the old beliefs, which made me a very angry person, very bitter, very full of resentment, very isolating, and pushing people away, approaching relationships based out of fear. And they see that I've made the changes over the course of, I've started really full-time in like December 2016. Then it kind of consciously or unconsciously sets the bar, sets the path for other people to walk down, hopefully. But yeah, if you're having trouble with how to get started, what to do, visit my website and we can talk about it. You can book a session with me. And I'm also posting a lot of things on the website as well that are written. Hopefully I can have some videos up as well. I'm like making a Patreon as well. So I'll have a lot more information and resources there as well. But yeah, I'm kind of going over on time here. So yeah, that was my Law of Attraction video and humans as electromagnetic consciousness, magnets. Thanks for watching. I am Victor E, aka Rogue Wallflower. Check me out on Instagram at I am Victor E and Rogue Wallflower Art, and patreon.com/I am Victor E. I hope this added value, and have a good day. Peace.